Welcome to the Mike on Much podcast. I'm your host, Mike Veerman. I'm here with my friend and trusty producer, Max Kerman, as well as our pop culture aficionado, Shane Cunningham. And on the dials is intern Erica. Woo woo! Guys, I want to take this opportunity to say, please check out the Pedestal podcast. We could even say that the Mike on Much podcast is brought to you by the Pedestal podcast.
Love it.
Yes.
Cross promo.
Like I said, we have 10 episodes of season 2 up, 10 episodes of season 1. That's 20 in total. Go check it out over on the feed. And every Friday, we're going to be releasing an episode of season 2 for the next 10 weeks. So check it out.
Pop wants to do Rush Hour. He texted me.
He listened to our episode the other day. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you in for Rush Hour 2?
I can do that.
All right. Do you have any
I loved Chris Tucker as a kid.
I was going to say,
he was like my favorite actor.
What's your favorite Chris Tucker movie? Rush Hour?
Yeah, probably.
He's only done 8 movies.
Yeah, he's done like no movies.
Yeah.
That guy's actually had a hilarious career because he basically made so much money from Rush Hour 1 and 2. I think 1 he probably made a little bit of money, and then Rush Hour 2 was a big follow-up, and I think he got paid a lot. And he just hasn't done anything.
Well, he released a statement saying, I will not do a movie unless I'm paid over $10 million.
Oh, that's what he
and
said.
Then they had to pay him, like, obviously over $10 million for Rush Hour 3.
Oh, yeah. I forget there was a Rush Hour 3.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. At some point, though, it's like he's clearly coasting on the paychecks and like sort of the notoriety of that film from 20 years ago. But like, doesn't money run out?
Yeah, you think so. But
I think if you make good investments, money can make you money. And then he'll show up in like Silver Linings Playbook for like 3 lines.
That's right.
Stuff.
Do you think I paid $10 million for that?
No, definitely. I think he just wanted to show people that he's still alive.
Also, the way you save money is you go on private planes with that Jeffrey Epstein guy.
Yes.
Because he was actually just in the news. That was the last time I saw Chris Tucker's name.
He was
2 days ago.
He was on Epstein's plane?
Yeah, I think for one of those like missions to Africa.
So what was that mission?
I think he was going to Africa with like Bill Clinton for like some AIDS thing.
Huh.
Yeah, anyway.
Bad look.
Yeah, bad look now. But anyway, Chris Tucker, love you, bro.
We skipped over Epstein from yesterday's episode.
Yeah. Is there really anything to say on that one, I guess? Like, my question with the Epstein situation was just like, how many people know in that sort of upper echelon? It's just like, was this like an open secret? I know he'd already been kind of charged for it before.
For those who don't know, Epstein is this billionaire person who there's been sort of reporting that he has a penchant for young girls, that he is
New York City hedge fund guy.
Yes, and he's a pedophile, and that he sort of runs this sort of thing where he would throw these sort of very exclusive parties where he would bring in girls that were underage, and they'd be sort of these sort of, I guess, sex parties. Uh-huh. And I don't know where he was finding these girls, but I guess he had recruiters and all this stuff. It was this sort of like huge operation. It was thought out. There was this whole construct. People had reported on this in the past. He had been busted years ago, and I guess the prosecutor at the time gave him a real sweetheart deal, like basically let him off. And I guess to me the story is, anyway, so I guess like the reason this is a huge story now is because he's most recently been charged again, and the guy that gave him the sweetheart deal, the prosecutor, is now in Trump's cabinet. Mm-hmm. So it's like Trump was mixed up in all this with these New York billionaires. It's kind of like this weird sort of like Eyes Wide Shut, but with pedophiles and this sort of secret sex thing. And so I guess to me the story here is sort of like how disheartening it is that the criminal justice system doesn't work for people who don't have money. But if you do have money, it's like you can get away with anything.
Yeah, well, this is when we were thinking about like making this a topic. Shane brought this up the other day. We were like, what is there kind of to say? Dude's a rich scumbag. The justice system serves the rich scumbags all the time. This guy fucking sucks.
All we can basically say is that's really bad. The justice system's horrible. There's like it should be more fair. Like this is bad.
Yeah.
So topics like that, they seem like they'd be juicy, but they're actually not.
Yeah.
They're kind of just depressing. The whole story is depressing.
It's almost like the shirt issue too with the USA team. It's like so obviously that's ridiculous.
What shirt?
With the USA soccer team, the women's soccer team.
I don't know this story.
We talked about it.
Oh, that was a shirt.
The shirt. The graphic.
I thought that graphic was on a shirt. Sorry, I'm thinking of the Raptors did a similar
the cartoon
shirt with the cartoon.
Yes, I get you.
But that's just, it seems like it would be good to talk about, but it's so stupid. There's no, we can't even have interesting viewpoints on it except to laugh at it.
Yeah. I guess the only angle that I thought that was kind of interesting is like, I wonder what other sort of like high society secrets are out there that might come out one day. Mm-hmm. And what would surprise you? Or is the internet, so revealing, and there's too many iPhones, and there's too many like, loose lips people out there that like it's hard to keep any big secret.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's.
Yeah, I guess ultimately with this story, and I think Shane nailed it, it's just sort of like this depressing story, but I guess it'll be cool if this guy actually goes down and he names names and reveals who is taking part in this sort of bullshit, like highly illegal, sort of corrupt, like assault of young girls. You know what I mean? It's like, so I guess in the end, if the justice system works, I think this guy's going down no matter what, because when the police raided his home, they went to the safe, they found tons of pornography of young girls. Like, I think he's fucked. The question is going to be, will he name names?
That's what kind of made the college admissions scandal fun, though, is because the people that got caught. Well, first of all, I never really thought that much about rich people were like paying a lot of like $500,000 to get their kid into school. But what made it fun was that it wasn't someone you'd suspect, like Felicity Huffman, who's such like a bleeding heart. That's what made it interesting. It's like, oh, hedge fund billionaire guy is a pedophile. Okay, that doesn't really surprise me at all. Felicity Huffman paying someone off to get their kid into school, that's like, ooh, okay, that's interesting.
Well, I think one is fun because although
and it's fun,
it's kind of victimless in some ways. Like it's not
sort of,
but it's like it's ultimately like, yeah, we're talking about education and a construct that sort of exists. This other one is, it's like, where are they finding these girls? Are they destitute? Are they being silenced? Are they being like disappeared if they speak out? Like there's actual sort of, victims in a way that's very tangible.
Yeah.
As opposed to sort of, we can all laugh at that college admission scandal.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the reason why we're all tuning in today, not because of that, because a lot of people have been asking what my relationship status is.
Oh.
With
Minka Kelly or Lauren?
Both.
So that is where we should start.
Yeah.
How the hell was J.Lo?
J.Lo's okay.
Walk us through it. You get into the suite.
So we get in the suite. I'm there with manager Ash. And what you always hope for in that situation is that you're not the first one to the party, that you look like the cool guy showing up. You know how Drake, shows up to his courtside seats like after the whistle usually?
Yeah.
Because he can make an entrance when everybody's in their seats. So we pull up in the suite. Nobody's in there. It's just me and Ash. And we're really hungry. So we're like, let's like stuff our face with pizza now. So when Minka Kelly comes in,
you're not eating.
We're not eating. Because, we've talked about this, like if you go to like a fancy party and there's like hors d'oeuvres passing around, you always feel a little stupid for like just stuffing your face.
No one looks good eating.
No one looks good eating. So we get that out of the way. And then Minka Kelly rolls in with like three of her friends whom they kind of politely say hello, and then
male friends, female
friends, all females actually. There's three other kind of young women.
How tall is Minka Kelly?
She's not as tall as you think. She's like 5'6" or something,
right?
5'7". And I think one of them was her co-star. It turned out that's on that show she's part of.
The Titans.
Yeah, Titans. And then they immediately go right to the front row of the box. And then, really, for the next 2 hours, proceed to not turn around for once. I did go with the pretending not to know. Minka? Oh, good to meet you, Max. Okay,
that's a good move.
Yeah. And what I was thinking was, I was like, you really want. This is one of those situations where you really want the nut there, because the nut would somehow find a way to go like, oh, my buddy here. Oh, yeah, I sold this whole place. He'd be able to throw some line in there.
He's a good wingman.
Great wingman. Make me seem like a real big shot. But that didn't happen. And then I thought my chances really went even lower. Just to even make conversation, what I'm referring to here, is in the next suite over, there's this guy kind of at the front of the suite who looked like he was like a Hell's Angels kind of guy. He had like tattoos on his head and looked very, very intimidating. And it turns out, and Ash had texted me, he's like, is that guy like a bodyguard or something? Drake's bodyguard. Drake is at the show standing like fucking 5 feet from me, just on the other side of the suite.
Oh my God.
And of course, Minka Kelly and all of her girlfriends see Drake. So they have their eyes on him. And the reason Drake being at the show is interesting is because he famously dated J.Lo.
That's correct.
Oh yeah, he has a song reference about her too. Like this was like a year and a half ago or something, not long ago.
I think he was right before A-Rod.
Yeah, right before A-Rod. So then that made me think. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like I wonder, is Drake in contact with J.Lo and says like, hey, I'm gonna come check you out? Are they like on good terms? Is he doing that to fuck with J.Lo and A-Rod? Do you think like gossip gets back that Drake was at the J.Lo show and A-Rod's like in Miami getting really jealous? Like, who knows?
Maybe he listens to the pod and heard Minka Kelly was going to be in a box.
Yeah, and
figured out which box.
Go.
Goes, give me the one next to it.
I'll take out that other half Jew from Toronto. Me. Anyway, I was kind of keeping my eyes on Drake. Drake was like not really watching the show. He was just watching basketball highlights on his iPhone.
I've never related more to Drake in my life.
Yeah, it looked like, I could be wrong, but it looked like he was watching Summer League like on his phone.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
I've never liked him more.
Yeah. So then, anyway, that's all I had. I left like.
But how did you even end up introducing yourself to Minka? Like right at the beginning,
just
or
at the beginning.
Oh, you
Like,
didn't
she
sneak up
came
behind
in-
and tap on her.
Yeah.
No, I think she came in.
She
and
came
introduced-
in and like
did the room.
Yeah, well, it was just kind of just Ash and I at the time. We're like, oh hey, how's it going, Max?
Did she hand you her coat to hang up?
Can you imagine?
Thought you were his staff.
Yeah.
And how about you and Lauren?
We're good. We're good.
Does she listen to the podcast at all?
Oh yeah. Well, no, I play her parts though. I played her the part yesterday when I was explaining her reaming me out for getting mad with the Kawhi thing. She liked that. Yeah. And
So she doesn't mind the way she's depicted on this podcast.
I think she's depicted pretty cool on the podcast. No? What do you think, Erica?
I don't know. No comment.
Well, because I find I get in trouble for the way I depict Alex on the podcast. Like, she was just reaming me out. She was like, that Father's Day card you didn't like. You make me seem like this way.
No, well, you kind
like-
of defended Lauren because you said like you're making Lauren sound like some old like Jewish mother.
Yeah, because I'm thinking how Alex is going to hear this. So
Yeah.
in my defense, I was like, you think I'm bad? Listen to Max.
Yeah. Well, but then Lauren appreciated you defending her, and then also she said you're not wrong, Lauren. She was like, yeah, you actually told that story pretty accurately.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and normally she thinks I like twist the truth a little bit. So I think she's pretty happy with it.
All right. Well, that's good.
I didn't show her the part about me getting really excited to go see Minka
I was
Kelly.
wondering the part where you said, "I guess I have a girlfriend."
No, it's all good.
Good. So, oh man. So then the night ends, and then,
I literally just like went to bed. I was really tired.
yeah. But does Minka leave before the show's over, or does she?
No,
stay?
we left before the show's over.
So you left while Minka and her girlfriends were still there.
Yeah. But then on the way out, I added her to Instagram, hoping that maybe she'd slide into my DMs.
Really?
No dice.
You really added her afterwards?
I did.
Did you say goodbye?
Gave hugs all around. No.
Bring it in,
I'm
girls.
leaving.
Of course not. No, did not do that.
Oh man.
Yeah. There's even points in the show where they're all kind of like dancing with each other, and I'm like one row up, like also kind of dancing, but kind of by myself.
That's so sad.
Well, I knew all the words, so I feel like maybe I'm part of your little dance group. But
Your head just keeps popping in over their shoulders. Waiting for tonight, right, ladies? I sold out the Serena.
who said that?
Is that Max from Eric Kells? Who said that? All right, so let's get into our topics for today. We got a couple. So first we're going to hit on Cineplex and the fact that they're doing this movie Unplanned, and it's caused a bit of controversy. The other topic is
Marc Maron slandering Hamilton.
our hometown, born and raised.
This
Hamilton.
is like a week old, but I thought it'd be fun to talk about.
We'll hit it.
Yeah.
And then finally, we're going to take some viewer or listener questions, which is exciting. Who put that out into the world?
That was actually Ash's idea, but I put it on the internet.
Yeah, that felt like a very Shane thing to do. I thought it was Shane that did
Well,
that.
I do a podcast where that's all we do is take
Yeah.
listener calls and emails and stuff. And
Yeah.
it is the most fun way to do it.
Plug your podcast.
It's called This Family Tree Podcast.
Check it out. Shane has a family.
It's true.
And a podcast.
And a
it-
tree.
Good. I also want to talk about Domino's Pizza.
Oh!
'Cause I tried to talk about it last time, but we could not. So I want to get to little frivolous kind of
Yeah, let's do
topics.
it.
All right.
I got 3 little ones. So I was dissing free shit and waiting in line and how I
Yeah.
hate it.
But this is the Mandarin episode.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
But Domino's Pizza shattered that because they know how to fucking give out free pizzas.
I heard. Yeah, I saw you texted us the other day.
A new Domino's opened right over on Queen Street here, Queen and Spadina area in Toronto, downtown Toronto, and as part of the grand opening, they were giving away free pizzas, which Shane discovered.
So this was the day after we had a diaper party where we all got pretty drunk. So after I get pretty drunk, I usually go on kind of a mini juice cleanse.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm walking to go to my my juice place, but they're like, "We're all out." And I go, "What?" I go, "Oh, can you make me a smoothie?" They go, "Oh, our machine isn't working."
Huh.
I go, "Fuck." So my backup is I always just eat one single McDonald's hamburger.
Okay.
Like just a hamburger.
Yeah, with I take the bun off and I just eat like the meat, because that's my healthy meal. But I see all these homeless guys walking towards me with Domino's pizza. I'm like, that's odd. Like, why would so many homeless guys just be getting personal Domino's pizzas?
How'd you know they were homeless?
Well, the guy had one shoe on, and
That's fair.
The other,
Say no more.
there's another guy by the McDonald's who always asks me for a quarter.
Right.
Then I go to check it out at the McDonald's, and this lineup is like moving, like people are walking. No one's stopping in the line, and they're just like, the Domino's people are like, pepperoni or cheese, and they're basically frisbeeing out these pizzas. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to eat a pizza today.
That's amazing.
Then I ate the pizza, and then I felt horrible afterwards because I just ate a whole pizza for lunch, and then I went on a real juice cleanse where I don't eat any food.
Well, you came back to work, and everybody ended up getting pizzas. You told them all. You said, "Hey, they're giving out free pizza over there. It's literally only 5 minutes."
Wow.
And was I wrong?
You were. It was the most well-run thing I'd ever seen.
But it made me.
Did you
think
do it?
I did it. I went up and did it. They, like Shane said, broke into cheese and pepperoni. And then when you get in there, they had like 30 employees on staff. So basically, they had a ton of people in the kitchen just pumping out pizzas. Then they had like a line of like 6 people handing the pizzas to the front. And then they had 2 different line organizers basically telling people what they needed to do. It was so well run.
I wonder, okay, so are you going to go back to the Domino's? Did they win you over with that?
I am the
service?
biggest Domino's fan in the world. I have a Domino's every Friday of my life for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
So, but what I liked about this is it wasn't like a typical free thing where you end up getting to the end and they're like, spin this Timbit wheel and then you get 10 Timbit points. And
Yeah.
Give me your email.
They play some bullshit game exactly where they want your email, and it doesn't even matter about the game. It just takes 10 minutes per person. The lineups around the block, and it's never worth it. And like Mike's point about the Mandarin kind of needing the passport omits homeless people. They didn't care if you came back 3 times. They didn't care if you were homeless.
Wow.
They didn't care if you were a potential customer, if you ever ate it again. They're just whipping these things out, and it was amazing.
That's sweet. Yeah, I wonder, so Nick and I in the band, we are part owners in this bar, Odds in Hamilton. Go check it out, James Street South. We're all plugging shit today.
Great bar.
Yeah, great bar. And I think with that in the hospitality industry, it's like when you choose to give away product, it's just create goodwill with the customers. So like, I wonder how much that costs Domino's to hire all those extra employees, all that free product, and if it'll work. Because the point is they want people to walk by that Domino's and go, do you remember that time they gave away all that free pizza? I fucking love that place. I love those people. I love that pizza. And time will tell. But I'm always interested when companies like, hey, nachos on us, we're good. Or like when the coffee shop goes, hey, coffee on us, don't worry about it. Like, that's costing them money, but the idea is that they'll have customers for life, ideally.
Well, everyone knows there's a Domino's there more than anything.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to get existing Domino's customers to know
just awareness.
there's a Domino's here.
I wouldn't have known it was there without that promotion.
Yeah. I guess I wonder if they run the numbers. We're like, okay, if like a quarter of these people then order 2 pizzas in the next 6 months, we've made our money back or something like that. I don't know.
Second topic would be you cheating in the arm wrestling. So someone pointed out on Instagram, because Erica put up stories of us arm wrestling, that I lifted my elbow slightly.
Yeah.
They called out me for cheating.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't notice that you actually jumped the gun by like a full second and a half, which in an arm wrestle
makes a difference.
Makes a huge difference. So I just wanted to, I guess, put it out there. What is the worst cheat? Slightly lifting your elbow up to win, or jumping the gun by a second?
Probably jumping the gun.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Yeah. I don't really care that much. We can arm wrestle another day if you want. But honestly, my
manager Ash is shutting that down. She doesn't want you to break a hand.
Yeah, my left arm is actually really sore today.
The one I lost with is sore. The one I won with feels great.
Yeah,
it's weird
for me too. But
yeah. But why does Ash give a shit if you break an arm?
He's going on tour.
But are you known for your like killer guitar solos?
How dare you?
Like, don't you kind of fake play guitar?
No, I play a little guitar, but
really?
it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah, and I've
weaned myself off the guitar over the
years. But if you had a rainbow cast, I had that idea. That would create that'd be newsworthy.
People would love that. That's true.
How injured would you have to be to cancel this tour coming up?
Oh, good question. You're sitting at the show, it sucked. Like when Dave Grohl played like Throne, like he played on the Throne, because when he like broke his leg.
Yeah,
that sucks. I don't know. Yeah.
So like a broken leg might do
Yeah,
it?
maybe. Yeah, just because like I feel like a lot of the show is me dancing around. So.
But let's say you fall down a flight of stairs, full body cast, just your head is visible, rainbow body cast. Would you do it for all the publicity you would get?
Roll them out.
I mean, people would remember that tour as the body rainbow
Yeah,
cast
body
tour.
cast tour.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you
Good
do
idea.
it. You'd keep the dates.
Yeah. Yeah, but also it's like, yeah, do we care that much about? Yeah, I mean, we do. We never want to cancel anything, but if you cancel a show, you cancel a show.
Okay, and last thing, people have been bugging me about this because I haven't been bugging you about it, and I keep promising people I'm going to bring this up. The rally cry towel.
Oh yeah.
Okay, why do that?
Yeah, a lot of criticism over that.
Well, so where were we? Were we
You're
in
in
Brooklyn?
Brooklyn, yeah.
And I see the photo, and I turn to my brother, and I go, because it says Rally Cry Towel on it.
Yeah.
And I said,
And it is a towel.
yeah. I go, did they think people wouldn't know it was a towel, so they had to write towel on it? And then I don't know if Greg messaged you it.
Yeah. He's giving me shit about it already.
Yeah. So what was the thinking then?
The thinking was it was sort of like an ironic sign thing where it's like, you know, when you like identify the thing as what it is, it's like I'm wearing a Nike shoe and it says Nike shoe on the side or something. You know what I mean? Like,
So you're being funny.
well, it was supposed to be like a little wink or something.
And this
I don't
isn't revisionist history. You like
No. This is no. We're totally aware that like people, of course, know that it's a fucking towel. Like there's no like doubt about it. And we did towels last year too.
okay.
Did it say Rally Cry Towel on it? We just thought it was funny. We thought it was like a little like, I don't know. Just we didn't
Oh,
think that hard about
I
it.
think the problem is it's not enough of a joke where people get it. It lives in that weird purgatory joke area.
in between zone.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah,
I thought you were just saying that though after the fact. to
No,
make up for it.
no. We thought it'd be like, wouldn't it be funny if we just called this a Rally Cry Towel, like exactly what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
'Cause
But
are
no
you
one
ever-
thought it was that funny. I got
Right.
shit from a few people about it.
Yeah.
I think
there-
it's still a cool design. Mike D designed it.
Looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just didn't need the word towel. I knew what it was.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But it was fine.
We'll know
Maybe-
for next time.
Maybe a bunch of people loved it. Maybe
Yeah.
they're just not very vocal. Maybe people are like, I love
Yeah,
this.
vocal minority, you guys.
Yep. But let's not be negative,
Yeah.
you know, on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. Hey, were we going to talk about this festival that got canceled?
Yeah. I kind of want to
Was
tie
that
it to
because that's kind of fascinating.
Well, you know,
I was talking
let's
to-
start with Maron because I want to kind of tie it to this Roxas thing.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. So Marc Maron was in Hamilton, where, of course, Shane and I were born and raised, and Max has made a home, went to University of McMaster.
Mm-hmm.
Shane and I did not go to university.
No.
Shane did a bit of college, though.
Shane didn't graduate high school.
Well, I went to college though, unlike Mike.
I did graduate high school, though.
Who's more educated though?
Did
That's
you
a good
graduate
question.
in college?
No, I got a career. I won contests. Look at me, I'm full success.
I'm full success.
I am.
So Marc Maron is shooting something in Hamilton. Don't know if it's a TV show, movie, whatever it
Undisclosed
is.
project is what
Some
it said.
project he's shooting. So he is, I guess, there while he shoots, living in the city. And he went on his podcast. We're spending some time in downtown Hamilton. And he said, look, I don't want to be condescending because I'm not from here. And I don't want to be the rude foreigner. I think I am supported by many people I've spoken to from Toronto and other parts of Canada that Hamilton is not, it's not a high watermark for Canada. It's a little beat up here. It's kind of interesting. But there's definitely, it's got its own frequency. I don't know if it's the neighborhoods that I'm staying in or where we're shooting, but there just seems to be a sort of ongoing ragtag parade of frenetic sadness in many manifestations. It's weird when you focus is not consumed by what's going on culturally. You can really kind of zero in on people, and there's definitely a bit of a lot of humans twisted by soul sickness of one kind or another wandering the streets here.
What a beautiful, like, poetic way to say like parts of the city is a shithole, which I don't think is wrong.
Yeah,
But
well,
that's every city.
Yeah,
Every city
exactly.
has a shitty part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Like-
the thing.
And weird
Like
people.
if
100%.
if you're in where's Marin live? LA. It's like there's parts of LA that are fucking.
If you go to
dog shit
downtown
gross.
LA, it's pretty crazy.
Of course,
Yeah.
like Garrick is saying, everywhere is like that.
Of
Yeah.
course,
And
and of course, the reaction to this, by the way, is that a lot of people in Hamilton were insulted because he's a very internationally like successful
But
comedian.
he hedged his bets pretty well, saying, I don't know if it's just because
Yeah.
of where I'm staying. And that clearly is just what it is. And to his credit, he rectified it afterwards. And he said, oh, Hamilton has a lot of beautiful parts. I want to visit the waterfalls. I hear it's so nice. And he brought up Academica.
Well, because he needs
Like,
to live there for another couple of weeks and keep.
I don't.
eating.
No, he left.
Right.
When he revised what he said, he said he left and he heard it's a very beautiful city and he praised Locke Street and
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think that the reason this became like, I mean, really this is a local story and we're from Hamilton. That's why it even matters. But I think people have a lot of pride and they're tired of being beat up. You know, it's like the narrative is always Toronto being like, they're the armpit of Ontario. There's a real little brother syndrome, I think, with Hamilton sometimes because of the way that we're perceived or the way that people talk about us. So I think that just touched on a lot of those issues. But it's like, I completely agree. Like, I think that every city's shit. There's parts of Toronto that are terrible, and so it's like for Maron to sort of go on his podcast and just beat up Hamilton like that. It did feel kind of like, well, what are you talking about? It's like that everywhere.
If he's from Canada, you know that's reputation. You know, not like that's just not cool to kick like a city like Hamilton down at this point in 2019. In the same way that you wouldn't do it to like Akron, Ohio, or Detroit.
Exactly.
And he'd know better. If he was like shooting in Akron, Ohio, he wouldn't be like, this place is fucking weird because he knows the history of that place and he knows the history of the Rust Belt and how industry left. Like, you know, same thing with Hamilton and how it's been through a few tough decades. He just didn't know the context of him shitting on the place. The way he described it, I think, is accurate in some neighborhoods. But it also kind of reminded me, though, of like what this was kind of what he does as a comedian. Like if he's doing like crowd work at a club, and he just like is making honest observations about those two people in the front row doing a date, like on a first date, or the certain look of a guy here. You know, like that's what he's paid to do. Like that is literally like his profession is to do observational work. And his observation of like probably certain parts of Hamilton, which we'd all probably agree rings true, is just like what he does.
Well, Maron loves Canada too. He's always talking about how he feels comfortable here. Like he loves being here more than he loves being in the States. He's talked about moving here. And I think just the expectation of putting Canada on this pedestal, going to a city that's a little lesser than, in an area that's a little lesser than. Not that the city's lesser than. The area was. Yeah. And I think it kind of shocked him, and he felt like, oh, Canada's such a winner, it doesn't matter if I put it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But for the record, we love Hamilton and fuck Marc Maron.
That's the official position of our podcast.
Yeah.
That being said, Shane and I are going to Just for Laughs, where Maron will be, and it would be nice to get him on the pod because this will be what I lead with.
That's true. That's good. That's a good idea. But anyway, so
I just hi, I'm Mike, and I punch him in the nose.
Proud Hamiltonian. Yeah. See ya.
Fuck you, buddy.
Wearing my tie catch jersey. Oski wee wee, bitch.
That'd be the most Hamilton thing to do. Actually, did you see our friend Sean Dawson tweeted at him, and he tweeted back?
Yeah.
And what was the tweet?
It was something like
about how no one listens to the first 10 minutes of your podcast.
That was the ending punch, but his thing was, I think probably you're just a guy with a good vocabulary who's not funny, and no one listens to the opening, Mark. Yeah. And then Mark just said, probably not, was his response. And then a couple of trolls attacked Sean.
Attacked Sean?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, Maron's burner accounts. I love the opening. Sean with the civic pride. I like it. I like it a lot.
But anyway, so it got me thinking about this Roxodus thing.
Oh, yes. So it's called Roxodus.
Yeah. So
like Exodus, but with rock?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Roxodus is a festival that was supposed to happen last weekend in Edenville, Ontario.
You and Mandrash have been talking about this because it's kind of this thing that's flown under the radar, but has massive bands.
Oh,
attached.
the lineup
Edenville?
is insane.
Eatonville?
Eden, Edenville, Ville, I think.
Now that's a shithole. Have you ever been there?
No, we don't want that smoke from Edenville.
Yeah, it's like
we'd love to come and check out your town.
Yeah.
But the big names on this bill, like it wasn't like Aerosmith,
Leonard
Rock.
Skinner, Kid Rock, and like
Nickelback.
Nickelback. Nickelback. I think those were the four headliners, and then underneath there's like Blondie, Theory of a Dead Man, like even the ones 2 and 3 on the billing on each day were like big names, and you know you have a sense of like, man, to pay Kid Rock to come up to Ontario to do a show, it's like that ain't cheap. Aerosmith ain't cheap, and we were always sort of curious about this festival because you know we're in the industry. When something big gets announced, everybody typically hears about it, and I remember seeing a flyer for it like in February. I'm like, I haven't heard of this festival, and where is this city? And I Google map it. I'm like, okay, it's just north of Toronto, and these are massive names. But I like, did this just get announced? And then we poke around, and we're like, no, that was announced 3 months ago. So the fact that no one knew this festival was happening, we kind of said like, oh god, I wonder how it's doing, and one of us made the prediction that like I bet you won't even happen. Like you know, you just kind of smell it on certain things that
a show with that many big names should have been talked about. Like we should have all heard about it.
Yeah, And not to put on the level of like the Stone Show, but like everybody knew the Stone Show.
I think it lives in that world of these sort of like legacy rock acts that people would pay a lot of money to go see.
Yeah.
And all of them on one bill.
So anyway, they put out a press statement saying, like a week before the festival, and they say, unfortunately, we're going to have to cancel this festival. Unforeseen, like terrible rainy weather in this spring has made it so our facility is unable to host it. We're terribly sorry. We'll provide refunds, and we look forward to being back to provide you with the best like rock experience ever. Anyway, they put out another statement the next day. It's the exact same statement, but just without the line, we're going to provide refunds.
I was going to just joke about that.
No, literally. So people are like, what the fuck? And now there's a bunch of like local vendors who I think want to file a class action lawsuit because that's like a bunch of like money that they're not going to be able to earn. There's obviously a lot of like irate families that spent thousands of dollars on like the VIP package to go see their favorite bands, and now they don't know where to get their money from. Anyway, it seems like it's very disorganized. It seems like it's like a bit of a shit show. But I was like, do I want to talk about this? Because just to relate back to the Maron thing, I always was like, am I going to offend somebody who's part of it, who maybe I end up knowing this person, or they're like fans of the band, and maybe I don't know the full story, and I'm always like a little hesitant to criticize.
If you shit talk Roxodus, how are you going to play it next summer?
Right? Exactly. No, it's true. But so that's like when it comes to the idea of public criticism. That's sort of what I'm getting at. Is like when you publicly call out people. It's like how comfortable you are, and who's good at doing it too. Because I think in order to be interesting, you have to be ready to offend people. Like Michael Lewis, who is my favorite writer, and who is I think amazing at sort of
the Moneyball writer,
Moneyball guy, objectively calling people out and observing them in a very fair and honest way. He said to me when I interviewed him, he's like, "Oh, every book I've ever written, people have been very mad with me." I'm like, "Oh man, even Michael Lewis gets it." So I just kind of throw it to you guys. It's like, how comfortable are you making criticism?
Okay, well in this example, or in this instance specifically, they're not giving people refunds. Fuck them. Like, we can criticize them. Yep. Like, that's outrageous.
Well, we're assuming they're not giving people refunds. If they are not giving people refunds, that seems odd.
Yeah. And then as far as I understand, they're not. As far as I understand.
Did someone disappear too? Someone told me that last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I heard that like some dudes like run off with the money.
Oh, really?
I somehow don't believe that they're not giving refunds. What I think is probably... No.
But the thing is, what you do is it's like you don't give the refunds, then you get sued, and then you claim bankruptcy. Like, I don't think those people are getting their money back.
Right, yeah. Maybe that's the plan because they don't have the money.
That's what I would think. Like, maybe it's spent. Maybe they never even paid the bands. Like, who knows?
No, I think they paid the bands. I heard they paid the bands.
Well, then you gotta throw the show. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the irresponsible thing is that we don't know the details. So we're gonna sit here and we're gonna criticize something, and maybe that is sort of like a systematic or symptomatic of sort of the times that we're in, which is that we're all just gonna jump on, kill something like a hot take, but we don't have.
Well, I bet they had the best of intentions, got in over their head. Like we were before you got here, we were talking about how a lot of contractors do this. They'll kind of write a check that their butt can't cash. And this is the situation. They're like, okay, we'll give the refunds. Then they crunch the numbers like, oh, fuck, we can't give the refunds yet. And then they have to do something that seems like more evil than it is. They're just unorganized.
Mm-hmm. So if they've already paid the bands and then they cancel the festival, do the bands give them their money back?
No, the bands get paid no matter what.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Even though it's not happening?
Because the bands were ready to show up and
they've
do their
booked
work.
off their time, and it would have cost them if they could have had a show
they
somewhere else.
They obviously have flights booked, blah, blah, blah. So they just don't. So if they paid Aerosmith like $2 million already in
to
advance.
Hold the date.
To hold the date.
Those dates.
But the show's not happening.
Yeah.
Sometimes isn't it half and half? Like they'll give you half and then half upon completion.
Yeah, I mean, there have been instances where bands have not been paid. I remember we played a festival years ago. It was like Prince Edward County area. It was like kind of east, like Belleville-ish. And we were like pretty early on. This was like 2009 maybe. We were playing at like 1 p.m. But like Snoop Dogg and Akon and Simple Plan, like massive bands were headlining. And we got there and there was like 500 people there. It was early in the day, but like it just not seemed like anybody was going to be at this thing. And the stories are awesome. Like Snoop Dogg basically refused to come out of his dressing room until he got paid in cash. And so I think at that point in the night, like there was like maybe like a few thousand people there. But Snoop Dogg, who I'm sure has played enough dicey shows, is like, yo, I'm not going on stage until I get my money. And we ended up getting paid way more than we should have. And
how much are we talking here?
At the time, I don't even remember what it was, but at the time, it was more than what we normally would. So that just meant everybody was getting paid an inflated rate, if little old Arkells were. And I remember Like we got the check after the show. We're like, put this in the bank immediately. like go drive straight to the bank. But then a bunch of other bands who maybe lollygagged waited too
The
long.
account was drained by the time they cashed the checks.
It bounced. Yeah, yeah.
Well, we got to pay Snoop in cash.
Yeah,
the money's
exactly.
going to go real quick.
Yeah. So anyway, all to say is that sometimes this does happen at shows where it's like festival promoters like can't pay. But yeah, but I heard these guys did pay everybody.
It's a delicate tapestry too, because it's like you need the tickets to generate, like you need people to buy tickets so you can pay the bands. You need the vendors to pay to be able to be on the site so you can. It's like it's a shell game. So the money has to move around, and at the end of the day, you hope that what you've sold in tickets will supersede what you have to pay the talent, and then you make a profit. But that's why all these shows break even or come up short.
Yeah, it's really hard. Like the break even points are always like way higher than you think. Like I remember like hearing, and I'm gonna get this wrong, but like if there's a festival that's like capacity 30,000. Oftentimes the break even point's like 27,000 tickets.
Yeah.
So it's like if they sell it out, then they have $3,000 times, let's say the festival passes are $250 or whatever. Like, okay, that's millions of dollars. Great work. But if you sell 25,000 tickets, you're literally in the hole.
Oh.
$150,000.
Yeah,
However
that
much
sounds
that
like
is.
it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's
Tough
festivals
business
are very, very tough business. Especially when you're setting up shop like in the middle of a field where you have to bring in all the infrastructure.
So I was just thinking when you said literally in the hole, it messed me up. Just anytime someone says literally, I always think about them.
Picture
actually.
someone in a hole. Get me out of this hole.
Get in the hole. You didn't make it.
That's the funny thing.
So we don't know what happened with Roxadist. I'm sure there'll be some like definitive article that comes out breaking down what went wrong. But I guess we don't know, so we can't criticize them yet.
Did you see what this came up on NBA Twitter actually, NBA Reddit? Jay Onright made NBA Reddit because he called Chris Broussard like a lying piece of shit or something.
Whoa.
And he basically called out everybody who predicted that Kawhi was going to be staying in Toronto. Like he's like, look, I know all these people. I know Skip. I know Jalen. I like them all personally. But the fact that all these guys are walking around saying on television that Kawhi is 99% like certainly staying in Toronto, and then got it wrong, and there's no accountability. Like, what the fuck is that? And yeah, I mean, I think he specifically called it Chris Broussard.
There's a really good Ringer article about that exactly.
Oh, interesting.
All the people that basically, it's like if you notice, like all the really smart reporters didn't say shit because they didn't know, but everybody else. Well, there's an economy that comes from hot take culture and basically rush and get it right, but they've all blown their credibility by going on TV and saying he's definitely going to the Lakers or he's 99%.
Yeah.
It's like you got to. But anyway, there's a good article, Ringer article about that.
Cool. I'll check that out.
Did you know Stephen A. Smith has been wrong about the NBA Finals 7 years in a row? Did you know that?
Jane told me
Which
that.
which
He
is
doesn't
almost
talk like he is.
which is almost impossible to happen.
Like statistically speaking.
Statistically speaking, if you have a 50-50 shot at something,
Yeah.
it's
You're
less
wrong, Seth.
it's less than like 0.3%.
To go 0 for 7.
0.2%, but yeah. Yeah, to go 0 for 7. It's amazing.
See, that blows my mind that he would have picked the Cavs over the Warriors in some of those years.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That's insane.
Unplanned.
Unplanned. So, it's funny, Max, when you sent this through in the topics last night, I had seen this. This has kind of caused a bit of a Twitter uproar that Unplanned is a movie that is anti-abortion. It's pro-choice. No, not pro-choice. What is it? Pro-life.
Yeah.
And it's Cineplex has decided to put it in their theaters, and some landmarks cinemas have decided to put it in their theaters. So there are people that are upset by the fact that this movie is giving a place to be shown. It's giving a forum. So ultimately, I guess the stance is, obviously in Canada we have freedom of expression. So it's like you should, obviously everyone can have an opinion. If you're a pro-life and you want to make a film about this, that's great. And if you're talking to certain people about this and that is your stance, well, that is your right to be able to make something like this. People can agree or they can disagree. I guess the issue is people are like, why is Cineplex, a business like this, giving this a platform to play? So this is why they're upset if you are pro-choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And the movie is, for our listeners who don't know, it's about a woman, it's based on a true story, who worked at Planned Parenthood helping abortions happen, and then had like a come to Jesus moment where she saw how it was done and then flipped and then became a pro-life advocate. And it's her true story, and she's really painted as a hero. Did you watch the trailer?
No.
Yeah, it looks really cheesy, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question, though, when you sent this story was, the dude that released a statement from Cineplex, is that your guy from the Raptors game that you met?
oh, good question. I don't know.
That's got to be the dude you met.
It must be.
Slipped the ticket into your
Yeah,
hands.
yeah.
And then the Landmark guy who's decided to put it in 10 theaters That's your guy, Shane. Or
So
our
we
guy.
know what Shane and I think. Let it play, whatever they say.
Of course, he's been giving you free tickets.
But like, I watch movies like documentaries about like cult leaders and stuff, and they always have like weird views, and they're killing people, and I'm never like, that shouldn't play.
Right.
Yeah, I guess people are calling it like propaganda. And I guess a lot of like studios didn't want to touch it. There's a lot of like advertisers, like there are a lot of people who have distanced themselves from it because it's so shit. It's not a documentary, even though documentaries obviously. Have a slant
This
to
is
it.
like a
this is like
It's a dramatized movie about her life.
Oh, where she's the hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. What are you gonna do? Like, it's like people have views. People are going to share those views. People are going to make art about those views. And it's if you disagree with them, you disagree with them. Like I won't watch the movie. Like I mean, fuck, I can't even watch movies I want to watch with the kid. But it's like I don't know. I guess the question is Cineplex misstepping by alienating, other patrons by choosing to put this film into theaters?
It might be a poor business move,
Right?
But I don't think they're misstepping. Like in the statement released, which a lot of people probably won't read, they'll just get the headline that they're playing it. Is a good statement. It makes total sense.
Yeah, and the statement basically is like, I came here as an immigrant, and one of the things I love about Canada is the freedom of expression, and that's basically the reason why we are allowing this movie.
Like,
to
we
be
can't
played.
only just see movies with topics that we like. Well, we can, but that's not the movies that are released. They can't only be about things that the majority of people
Well,
support,
this always
right?
kind of it comes back to this question, which I always find really interesting. Is this like what's the line between giving something, quote, a platform, and then also just having a conversation with somebody that you maybe disagree with when it comes to certain areas? Like, and I know some podcasters get into trouble for this, like Sam Harris or Joe Rogan. They are often criticized by people, especially on the left, that go, the fact that you're even having a conversation with so-and-so is a problem because you're allowing your platform, which has millions of listeners, to be exposed to this guy who is misinformed or has bigoted views. Like, Rogan had Alex Jones on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I mean, Rogan's had a whole wide array of guests. And I don't know the answer to it. That's something I kind of struggle with because I'm like, okay, on one hand, like I personally think I can like listen to Alex Jones and see that he's a fucking nut job. Maybe I'll take something that's like, oh, that was kind of interesting, that illuminates something about him that I didn't know that I can take in. But I know how I
And
feel
he clearly
about
has
him.
a following. So
And-
there's something to me. There's something interesting about the idea that like we can't ignore the fact that there is a large segment of the population that is pro-life. So it's like those people have a point of view. Whether you agree or disagree, they do exist. So it's like there are people that follow Alex Jones, and we can say, well, they're misguided or they're ignorant or whatever. But the fact is, they exist. So I think there's value in learning what it is they're getting from him, why they are that
For
way.
sure. But my question is, what's the line, though? Because you do think there is a line that crosses. It's like, you know what, Joe Rogan, the fact that you had name another guy who's, I mean, Alex Jones is one of the worst offenders, I'd say. But like, who's the guy who got banned from Twitter?
Milos Yana.
Like,
Yeah.
like any of these nut jobs, it's like, where do you say, you know what, enough's enough. I'm not going to have some like Nazi skinhead on the show just because it's interesting to learn from their perspective. Like, I just don't know what that line is.
Well, that's the question.
Yeah.
Like, so say this is a movie that, let's say it's not a movie about abortion or abortion rights, but is about, let's say, a Nazi, right? Like, and it takes a sympathetic view towards somebody that believes in white nationalism.
Sure, yeah.
That movie would not get a platform.
No one. No.
It wouldn't. So the question is, do we think that the debate about abortion and sort of where like society falls along sort of like the lines of pro-choice and pro-life, like is that a debate that deserves a platform? And I guess the question is, it would seem like it is, because like enough people are either undecided or have strong feelings about it. But I mean, I don't know. Like if you talk to people on the extreme left that are like absolutely pro-choice, they'd say this movie is propaganda. It's bullshit. It's like it's warping minds.
Yeah.
And then if you talk to people on the right who are pro-life, they would say, well, this is how we choose to live, and this is like we think that your side is reprehensible. So it's like, yeah.
Well, and okay, so I say for this particular instance, this is where I kind of go back to something I was talking about on an earlier podcast about like how do you like pragmatically move the ball forward? And I'd say in each case, it's a case by case situation. I'd say in this situation, the fact that the and again, I'm not deep involved in this world, so maybe I shouldn't talk. But the fact that like the pro-choice world has made this thing a really big deal, I think actually does themselves a disservice because they're just bringing awareness to this movie. Now there's a bunch of people that maybe are pro-life that go, oh, maybe I kind of want to see this movie now because fuck those people telling me what to do. If they kind of if I think, and this is just me hypothesizing, if they had just let this movie come and go, movies come and go in and out of theaters all the fucking time, and didn't make a peep about it, then the movie would not get any attention. I think and I think we can all safely say we're all pro-choice. I think by bringing this movie and making it a conversation, it actually gives that movie way more attention and might ignite the pro-life community to go out and watch it and support it, which is like against the point.
Because they already feel persecuted.
Yeah.
So this is a rallying cry for them all of a sudden. That's
Yeah.
like, once again, we're being pushed and marginalized, that no one's respecting our views. Look, they're trying not even to let our movies be in the theater.
Yeah, I always just think it's interesting, like when it comes to like issues that progressives like really choose to make a thing of. It's like, when is it helpful and when is it like, actually, you know what, this wasn't actually helpful.
Well, it's such a tricky issue because to compare it to the Nazi thing is so different.
I wasn't comparing it.
I
it was
know,
a
but to
sloppy.
give-
It was a very sloppy comparison.
Well, it's just hard because these people, they just want people to live, right? Because they believe it's murder. So their intentions are fairly good, even though it is probably harmful to society.
Yeah.
to
Well, yeah, I
promote
guess the
that.
issue is it encroaches on like the rights of like a sentient woman to make a choice. So
Because
it's-
everyone is pro-life, right? No one wants anyone to die, and no one wants to have an abortion. Even people who are pro-choice, like abortions aren't a good thing. So it's just interesting that this movie is like these people are just denying people's rights, but they don't look at it that way. They're trying to be kind.
Well, because the next step is legal, like making abortion illegal. And then
I know that.
And so,
Yeah.
so the thing is, if you're like a woman, you're trying to take away my rights by saying that it should be illegal to have an abortion. So like that's the debate. It's like, so what's the next step if say the pro-life people get their way? So it
Right.
is a kind of a dangerous thing, I guess, for the society
So if
you want
everyone
to live in.
theoretically got indoctrinated by this movie and started believing it, like let's say this movie was excellent and made excellent points and then tipped the scale, like we're 51%.
And then we're living in a Handmaid's Tale world.
Passing
And-
laws.
Yeah,
Right.
you know
So-
what? Maybe
so-
I take what I said back because there's a lot of concern for that, just like the way the wind is blowing
Because
right now in
I think
America.
under your theory, it's just like, let's just let this come and go.
Yeah.
But what if it's an excellent movie that somehow brainwashes people into the wrong direction?
Yeah, well, I think this is why we have to be strategic about it, because I think by all accounts is a terrible fucking movie. Even the Toronto Sun, which is a conservative publication, trashed it. It was like, this is propaganda. It's a junk movie. It's not even telling the truth. So that's why I'm like, oh, it's a piece of shit. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's ignore it. But you're right. But I think the battle is different if it was really.
But
well
you
done.
remember there was a movie on YouTube like years and years ago. It was called Loose Change.
Yeah, the
And it was
9/11.
all about the 9/11 conspiracy theory. And people with normal levels of intelligence got fooled into thinking that it was actually an inside job. And then Michael Moore's film came out, which kind of perpetuated that
Fahrenheit
also.
9/11.
And before you know it, I think most people believed for a brief period of time that it was an inside job.
I think there's people to this day that still believe that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, what happened to
So
that
what if the movie is that good? I guess we're not worried right now because this movie's not good. Because initially I was like, yeah, let any movie play. But what if it is just propaganda that tricks people into believing wrong things? Yeah, that's tricky subject.
Yeah, it is a tricky one.
Wrong is also subjective, right? What's wrong to you is right to somebody else, and what's right to you is wrong to somebody else. And it's, I guess, society is ultimately majority rule. It's like, if enough of us agree, this is the way we're going to live.
Yeah, but there was a time when, like, segregation was the popular
Absolutely.
view and all
Yeah.
that. And I don't know. It's almost like saying, is that the right view? Like,
Well, it took people fighting and pushing against it, right? And sort of like tipping the scales as a majority.
but
It's like,
people
this
were
is wrong.
brainwashed to some extent.
Absolutely, yeah. And because people don't want to think about things like that. That's kind of like, ultimately, it's like we were talking about this actually. I was last night about sports team names and how like like the Washington Redskins is an offensive name or the Cleveland Indians. And the reason fans of those teams get so angry about that debate, it's like a mix of history, meaning like, if the Redskins won a Super Bowl in the 70s, well, I don't like, that's the name of the team. I don't want them to be the Washington whatevers, right? But ultimately, I think the reason people get so upset about politics and sports is they're like, life is tough and it's shitty, and I go to watch sports like as a reprieve from having to think about things. Stop making me think about things. They don't want to think that maybe something is wrong or offensive because it's just they don't want to think about that in that space.
And that's fair. I mean, in this particular subject, I'd also say, like, you know what? We won't make you think about it. We're just going to change the name, and you can carry on watching the thing because it is offensive. Yeah, I mean, like that. When they get particularly like incensed about, like, well, you can't because this is my daddy's daddy. My daddy's daddy loved the Redskins. It's like, oh, fuck off. We're talking about sports.
100%.
People just hate change more than anything.
Yeah,
and that is a huge.
And
part
they
of it
don't
as
want to
well.
throw out all their memorabilia. If you're a true fan, like, look at all the shit we have Raptors, especially after the
Yeah, like
championship.
we're all wearing
Imagine Raptors turned out to be like some weird racial term, and we couldn't post our shit anymore.
Can you imagine?
Like
That's
we had to
where I
delete.
draw the line.
We had
Yeah,
to
no.
delete every photo of us wearing this. I had to throw out this awesome championship hat.
That's an
Thank you,
interesting one.
Max.
What are the things that are going to be offensive in 10?
I think
20
Raptors are
years?
safe though.
You think
Yeah,
so?
I think
Yeah.
they're safe. Yeah, yeah. They've been extinct for like 40 million years.
Then some historian will uncover a Raptors genocide.
Extinct people matter.
Yeah, raptor extinct people matter. Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Extinct but not forgotten would be the hashtag.
That's how we can keep the
Yeah.
name Raptors. Yeah. What's the next one, brother?
Let's go to, how long are we at right now?
We are at 51 minutes.
Oh my God.
51,
Okay,
man.
let's do some. I threw it out there yesterday
Oh,
on Twitter.
questions.
Yeah,
Bachelor.
If
Oh.
there's any, well, if there's any question. Well, one of the questions was Bachelor related.
Okay, good.
So one of the questions was, let me see if I can pull it up. Was about the Bachelor. Actually, okay, we'll start here. And we'll try not to draw this out too long. It's a nice question, though. Hey, guy, Matt, Mike, Shane, Max, and Erica. Love the pod. I saw your request for topics, and though this is not necessarily topical, I've always wondered about the history of your guys' friendships and the Champagne Boys, and had an idea for a pod talking about and maybe sharing funny stories. Actually, you know what? This may be a full pod. We're going to do that as a full pod.
Okay, we'll save that
Yeah,
question.
but the memorial episode for Mike's dad was so touching and made me think could also be really meaningful but fun for the three of you to do something similar, although under, of course, different circumstances. Maybe it's too sappy. But you know what? If there's one thing the Champagne Boys like doing, it's talking about themselves. So we're definitely into that. We had a question about The Bachelor. I'm trying to find it. Oh, The Bachelorette. How do you guys feel about Luke P. and Jed? Also, how did you meet your significant others? I love a good love story. So let's go through The Bachelor real quick, not to bore. Mike, we've been watching it the whole season.
Yeah.
What gives your thoughts?
Well, Luke P is the kind of handsome religious guy with the teardrop eyebrows.
Yeah.
And that is a guy who I think is very nice until you get him mad or go against his values, and then he'll snap. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you can go with him. Can
No.
you? Right? Am I
No,
wrong?
he's crazy. He's like an inside.
Anytime someone's too extreme about anything, it makes me a little worried.
Yeah, the Hometowns episode, they did this whole church thing. It was Sunday school.
It felt a little cultish, especially like in the in the beginning. He was like seeming like a frat boy who's like just was like, you know, getting laid every weekend.
Well, he was like, his whole thing was just like, and he's, by the way, he's ripped. This dude is like,
They're all ripped.
they're all ripped, but he's the most ripped out of a bunch of guys. That
I
are ripped.
disagree.
Wow. Okay, we'll save it. That conversation will take way too long. He basically was like, you know, I was living a life of sin. I was chasing sex. I just couldn't stop chasing sex. And then I was in the shower, and God talked to me, and I saw the light, and he pulled me through, and then so now
I wonder what he was doing in the shower when God talked to him. Stop that! That is a sin.
Okay, and then so this week on the Hometowns, then Hannah meets Hannah's the contestant. She meets this guy Jed, who's a singer-songwriter from Nashville, who is objectively like pretty mediocre. And Nashville is a city full of fucking awesome musicians.
Are you talking about his looks or his songwriting?
And his looks are okay, and his songwriting is like below mid.
I think his looks are brutal.
Okay, bad looks, and his songwriting also shit. But
You're pretty
basically-
easy to indoctrinate there.
But also he nice guy though, and he brings Hannah over to his family, and basically it was so funny. Usually the families are pretty nice and just like kind of happy to be involved and like love their son and like want to like, you're so beautiful, Hannah. His mom and his sister are like, I don't think you're good for my son. I don't think you're good for my brother.
Wow.
And basically,
Well, the dad hates the process too.
oh, he is
Of The Bachelor.
of The Bachelor. So nobody in the family is on board. Basically, he's like, you know, he's a musician. You know, that's the only thing he cares about. You know, he's working on his career right now. And then Hannah's like, well, I think I can help support it. You know, we might have like, I'm all in on what he's doing. And they're like, nope. It's like,
Well, the story is too. He had a girlfriend, which is classic Bachelor story. Then he got hired to be on the show, and he left the girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he admitted on the show that he just did it to propel his music career.
Yeah, and every scene, by the way, it's like he pulls out a guitar.
Yeah.
Or he's at
Well, the
piano.
challenge is like, or the date is like, we're going out for tacos. He's like, okay, I like this taco with ground beef. It's like everything. And then when he does the hometown, he brings Hannah to make a shitty song.
Oh,
with her.
it was brutal.
How awkward was Hannah and him singing together?
Basically, like, we're gonna write a song together. Every other like hometown date was like kind of something fun. It's like, actually, Luke's was going to Sunday school, so that was kind of shit. But Tyler was like swimming in the ocean. Other dude took her up on a plane because he's a pilot. But yeah, he brings her to the studio. He's like, let's write a song together. But it was like the most like annoying flex because she's not a musician. So basically, like, he got to like show how good he is at stuff, even though he's not even really that good. And like Hannah hated it. Anyway, where are we going with this?
Okay, well, look, we're going down the line here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Pete Weber, the pilot who
Pete.
is seemingly annoyingly nice, where it almost can't even be real.
Yeah, he's a really sweet guy.
And then I wasn't buying it, but then you meet his parents.
Who are so nice.
His
Yeah.
parents are the nicest people.
Yeah.
But then you do a little research online. You find out he had a girlfriend before he left.
All these guys are ditching their girls.
But it's controversial because some people are saying that it was a natural breakup and she actually wasn't into him. But the girl's friends are saying he actually asked her to move in and it was going to be a real thing. And then he left for the show, which is obviously very enticing.
Yeah, and then Tyler C., who is this guy who's so good looking and so charming.
Yeah. Well, and
he's
he's when I said there's a guy with a better body, he has a perfect body.
Jay
He's
does
not
have-
too lean. He's
Yeah.
not too bulked up. You can see every single ab.
yeah.
He also has like a perfect like James Dean style,
Oh,
James
he's
Franco
so
face.
beautiful, that man. Oh,
But-
like Lauren literally squirms when he comes on the screen.
Wow.
Yeah.
There has to be something wrong with him though. He has to be evil in
What's
some
his
way.
flaw?
He played football at Wake Forest. He
That's not a flaw.
He models.
he models.
His flaw is he's emotionless.
yeah.
To me,
You think? He
Yeah.
hasn't opened up?
totally. That's what his dad said.
Oh.
And his dad has, cancer, and he
Oh,
left
right.
to be on the
Oh.
show instead of being by his dad's side. And he didn't really get emotional about his dad.
So where are we going with this? So basically, are we predicting who's going to
Predictions.
win?
We're making the picks. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So who do you think?
Who do you? Tyler would be the obvious choice, but I
Because your theory is whoever's the hottest on the show will win.
yeah,
Yeah.
every year that happens, but
Mostly.
mostly I was shocked a couple times, but I'm going to go for Luke P. Even though he seemed because they have a weird connection.
Yeah.
Hannah's already said she loves him, which is usually a tell that in fact they're not going to win because they like to be like, ooh, why'd they keep the I love him part in? But it's always because she's not going to go with him. That's why the producers are willing to let that fly. But Southern people like religion, and what would scare away, air quote, normal person does not scare away a Southern person when it
Yeah.
seems like someone's overly religious. So for that reason, I'm picking Luke P, even though it's going to burn in flames.
Yeah, I think Luke P is going to win too. I think because he's so devoted to her, so that's probably can be an appealing thing to someone like Hannah or anyone for that matter. Also, I think he's a bit of a project. Like, she's totally the boss when it comes to their
That's the
relationship.
only one she's the boss in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's just like she was scolding him in front of his family, but she kind of loved it. And she was like, "Oh, I have a lifetime of just like telling this idiot like when he's wrong. that can be good." So yeah, I'm with you. Oh, and also they've set up every trailer to make it seem like she's waving him goodbye because like he questioned if she's had sex before.
Well,
And
he said, if you have sex,
I'm
it's
out.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to him leaving in an SUV.
So this is all setting up for a big turnaround.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to say, which I just thought was funny. So basically, that episode happens. Jed's been under scrutiny this whole time because there's all these reports coming out of Nashville that his ex-girlfriend is like, he was still with me when he left for the show, et cetera, et cetera. And then his mom and sister are super mean on the show. So he put out an Instagram post with his family, and he said, until then, he's like, you have some questions. I want to answer them, but I can't do it right now. But until then, I ask that you please understand how much the actions being taken towards myself, my family, the men on the show, and all of the above, Hannah, are affecting all of our mental and physical health. It goes beyond what's said online. Threatening letters and phone calls have been sent to our homes. My parents and sister are being verbally attacked in public. I beg you to remember what seems like a harmless action is damaging to real people. I want to thank you to all who have reached out and reserved judgment until I'm able to speak openly. Anyway, there's just something. Oh, also, John Paul Jones commented on that post. You
Who?
know John Paul Jones, like the kind of the goofy model guy.
Oh yes, yeah,
He
former
goes,
actor.
Yeah, Jed. Hope all's well, man.
Did you even read my caption?
But there's just something hilarious to me that like there's Bachelor Nation fans that are just like seeing Jed's sister on the street and like reaming her out.
I like Jed's sister. I'll say that.
I like Jed's mom.
Yeah, you do?
Oh my god.
What do you think of Jed's sister?
I also like her.
Yeah, I think she could be the next Bachelorette.
You know who should be the next Bachelorette? Luke P's mom.
Luke P. Oh my God, Luke P's mom is amazing. She
beautiful.
looks like a 20-year-old, 50-year-old, or no, am I saying that wrong? A 50-year-old, 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Like she's ageless. She just has gray hair.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and she's so like calming, and I like her voice and everything.
Stop that! It's a sin.
Who do you think is going to be the next Bachelor?
I think Tyler's gonna be the next Bachelor.
Yeah, he'd be perfect. But I do think they're due for a black Bachelor. And that guy was pretty hunky, the one who left, and he was pretty sincere.
Yeah, I agree. I forgot his name. All right, sorry guys.
No, it's cool. I just been watching Summer League highlights over here like Drake. I have a question that was sent to me by a listener. Hi guys, I'm having this problem slowly build up in my life. I have this friend, let's call him Bobby. We've been friends for over a decade. He's one of my best friends, and it's great because he works nearby my apartment. At first, I thought it was fun the way he'd stop by and say hello, but then one day he asked if he could use my gym. Before I knew it, he took up my front hallway closet with his gym clothes. Then he started leaving bags there, including his work equipment. Now his bathroom stuff is all over my counter. He uses my shaving equipment. He wears my large size boxers and leaves his dirty medium ones. Sometimes even on the bathroom counter. He even complained once none of his dirty boxers he left had been cleaned for him. Lately, it's gone a step further. He started staying at my apartment when I'm not there. The thing is, he lives in the city. He even leaves the door wide open often when he leaves, and my dog has run into the hallway. To top it off, he recently asked for a fob and key to my apartment. Mike on Much, tell me what to do. A disheartened friend. P.S. My fob is in his pocket right now.
This is Dan Hamilton.
I think Bobby might be Max Kerbin.
Yeah,
Right.
guilty as charged.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a good joke.
That's very good. Yeah,
Is all that true?
Yeah, most of it's true. Yeah.
You shave with his shaving stuff and you
No,
use
I have
your
my own
underwear?
shaving cream.
Okay.
And shaving razor.
All right.
I think it's okay
I do
to-
borrow his underwear sometimes, though.
And you get mad when he doesn't clean yours?
Well, I mean, I threw him in the wash. Wait a minute, man.
Because I think if you have options to sleep somewhere else, you can almost get away with doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I could go somewhere else. But if you had nowhere else to go and we're doing that, it would be much worse, I think.
Oh, yeah. And the reason why I go work out at his place sometimes is because I'm downtown, and I like to break up my day. And I go to the gym up at my place, but I'm more up in the annex. So Dan's place is right around the corner from where we're recording right now. And it's your building as well.
Yeah.
And Dan loves it secretly.
Oh, Dan loves it. I think also, for the record, he texted me last night at 1:30 in the morning. Tomorrow after you record the pod, I want a venti iced coffee with an extra espresso shot, only cream, no sugar, and the ham and pepper egg bites delivered with my fob. Love you with heart eyes.
That totally disqualifies his whole rant email. That's hilarious.
Do you want to leave it there because it's getting pretty long? We'll do more of a Q&A next
Yeah,
time.
cool.
Oh, I thought we're not gonna give the advice to a real person. We can't end with that.
Did
You wanna
anyone
leave it
ask
there?
for advice?
Well,
I think
someone
one person
said how
did.
to meet people in the
Oh,
city.
yeah, okay.
Okay, so leave all this in. Listeners,
have to, I was
we're
just saying.
going to do one last question, and then maybe we'll finish with a couple questions on the next episode, too.
Yeah, I'm trying to
This is a good feature.
Yeah, it's good.
So what's the advice? So what did Shani say? Meeting people in the
Person's
city?
new to a city.
Yeah, let's
Like,
find
I
out
think
what the name of the person is and
Yeah.
read the question.
Max put it in an email.
This is from Cassandra. I just moved out for the first time into the GTA from Southern Ontario. Woohoo for post-grad adulting.
Congrats.
Congrats, indeed, to Cassandra. I'm wondering if you guys have any tips for making new friends in a new city. So we'll answer this question. We'll wrap this pod, and then we'll do a couple questions at the end of every pod.
Yeah,
because
that's
people
good.
have been like, there's lots of shit
Yeah.
in here in the inbox. This is great. So, guys, how do you make new friends in a new city?
It's a good question.
Depends what you're good at. If you're a social person, you can just go out to a bar alone. Just like some people are like that. I figure you could do something like that, Max, and I think you're good at that, Mike. Like you'll go to a bar and just read a book, and if someone's sitting next to you, you'll chat to them all night.
Yeah, yeah.
For a person like me, it would be a sport. And
Yeah.
I was actually reading this online for people who aren't good at small talk and all that bullshit. They're very good in sports settings when it becomes competitive. And I find I'm actually the best when I'm on a sport team at chatting and being vocal and team-oriented, and then people tend to like me best in sports settings.
Like join a random soccer team.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of adult sports leagues out there. So
Sports leagues help.
I was gonna give like that suggestion too. Is that it's like, and you don't even have to like make your own team. There's you can usually enter the league as like a random person that will throw
Oh,
you.
for
on.
sure.
And they always want to go out for drinks afterwards.
Yeah, so that's a big part of like softball, soccer, and also like playing on a softball team has nothing to do with your ability to actually play softball. Like just
about the hang.
Yeah, it's about the hang. So like even if you're not into sports and you can like kind of play softball, just remember that it's more about being outside in the summertime.
Yeah, like in other things, like like if you don't drink, go to a yoga class. I feel like people will talk before and after.
Yeah.
I think still though, if you are an introvert, it might be hard to strike up a conversation. But like, what are other social things that people can do where you actually have to interact?
I feel like there's other like meetup groups and stuff. I know some people that have done that before. It's like meetups to go to the movies or something like that. And I know it maybe feels a little lame to
Yeah, I
do
feel like that would just attract total losers, though. Hi there, Shane here doing a quick editor's note. I just want to clarify, when I said the word losers, I meant to say the word nerds. And I'm on a juice cleanse right now, so I actually thought I did say the word nerds. But anyway, that's what I meant to say. And what I meant by that is that maybe it's not a good idea to seek out friends in a very specific field or an extreme interest if you're not interested in that field, because you will not end up finding like-minded people. But hey, as Eric, you'll see soon, Erica proves me wrong. So there you have it. Thank you.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to remember that there's a lot of people in your position out there that aren't losers, whatever that means, that are in the same boat. So, yeah, I feel like even like something like apps like Bumble and stuff have like a friend thing.
do.
They? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like so without the intention of dating, not romantic.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I think there's got to be.
I don't know if you'd get the normal people you'd want to in that. Like, I think it would be an extreme level of, I'm just going to say lamer people doing that.
Sure.
I think you're more likely to meet like real friends in a sporting event, going out to a bar, or something like that. Like, I would just think if I was to go on Bumble to meet friends, I wouldn't be meeting guys like you. And I'm always good at making friends with normal people. It's just I'm not a normal person at meeting people.
Sure.
I have a lot of empathy too, for like, because a lot of people are friends with who they went to high school with, or like, you know, like all of our friendships span well over a decade. You know, it's like they've kind of been forged through fire and time. Sort of like, I just like what would be my first move if I was like sort of a single person that moved to a city by myself? Like, what do you do? Like, let's say I just moved to Saskatoon and I want to make friends. I think I would probably join a sports league. That would be something that I would do. But I'm trying to think of something for people that don't like go to bars either, because like,
yeah, I mean, even finding, if you are lucky enough to live in like a neighborhood with like a cool local coffee shop, and you kind of make it part of your morning.
Yeah.
Like you know, I know the place around the corner. It's like everyone kind of knows each other. There's a sense of community there.
and neighborhoods too usually have community events.
Yeah,
or,
neighborhood
like,
associations, like, you know, like
Exactly.
go to the neighborhood cleanup at the park or something like that. Like, that is actually
Exactly.
really nice, and there's good people there.
You'll
too.
meet a couple, you might, and then it's like all of a sudden like, hey, come over for dinner, and then all of a sudden you maybe get into their friend group and sort of infiltrate that.
Depends though. Like a cleanup group seems like you're going to get a lot of really good people who are extremely good.
So
and
you don't want
nice.
them too lame, but you don't want them too good. You want that middle section where you're kind of scummy,
just
but you're
normal people like you guys. Like, you guys are normal.
Yeah, I've helped out with the neighborhood cleanup before.
Yeah, volunteer.
I know, but
We've done
I
community
feel like
things.
you're a huge outlier. I feel like it's like Luke P. He's too religious. You know what I mean? A guy who's too fit. If a guy's eyebrows are too groomed, something's weird about that. I just want to meet normal people. That's why I think, honestly, the best suggestion is softball.
Softball is pretty normal, but you ruling out the neighborhood association for park cleanups is hilarious.
You're gonna get too many goody goodies, and I'm not saying.
What if Cassandra's a goody goody?
Yeah,
if you're a goody goody, do the neighborhood park cleanup.
Yeah. Okay.
you'll meet lots of friends. Someone will invite you for dinner.
But I'm assuming here, just because I'm me, and I assume that she's like me,
right?
and so I'm giving advice from my perspective. If you want to meet guys like Mike and Max, Join a softball team.
Yeah, softball's pretty good. Also, like there's like dragon boat teams and like random stuff that again you don't have to be athletic for, but you can just like go out and hang out.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that dragon boating.
Eric,
Just so casual, like everyone knows what that is.
Well,
Or join a dragon boat team.
Sounds dangerous.
Eric, you got any ideas?
Yeah, volunteering's always great.
Volunteering? That's
Yeah,
another cool.
I volunteered at a soup kitchen for a while. Lots of normal people there, cool, young, normal people who just wanted to volunteer for a couple hours on
High
weekends.
character people who are
Also,
volunteering.
she's going to school. She says.
Oh, she just graduated.
Just
post-grad.
finished.
Yeah.
Oh
Moving
well,
to the city.
when I moved to Toronto, I got a part-time job at a restaurant, which was super fun. Like those people became really close friends of mine for a long time.
Yeah,
Even-
actually, that's not a bad idea. If you have a chance to, if you have time to work,
yeah,
like a
You
serving
always-
job at the
any-
right place can be fun.
yeah, like a cafe or a restaurant part-time job. You always end up getting like a circle of friends there.
No, that's smart.
They're
I
pretty
like that.
social people, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like girls actually would be more likely to be if it's a woman, you can find normal people at a soup kitchen. I think.
So you're back on the goody tip.
For women, yeah. I don't feel like you'll meet normal guys at a soup kitchen for some reason.
I
Like,
think she's just looking for friends.
No, we
Right.
met like normal couples. that
that's
would
what I
come
mean.
and
I
do
mean, if I was a guy
together.
looking for friends who are like-minded like me, a soup kitchen I feel would be a bad spot for me.
You know what? The last thing I say is, whatever group event you're going to, little olive branches actually go a long way. So, like in times when we played softball and there's a new random person on the team who doesn't really know the rest of us, and they bring like a thing of freezies for everybody,
Totally.
I'm like, I fucking love this person.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
it really does help.
it really helps if you can like I'm gonna spend an extra $8 here today and people will like me.
I'm
It
gonna buy
wins.
my friends today.
I'm gonna buy my friends today.
Totally.
It totally works.
It works.
Yeah.
So bring freezies to whatever you're going to.
Yeah.
The soup kitchen, although they might rush you.
Mike on Much can be found on Twitter and Instagram at Mike on Much. You can subscribe to the show on any platform that has podcasts. Spotify, do it.